because towards the end of her life, and I think back from the first 4 years, 5 years was kind of rocky, but 16, 17, she passed away when I was around, I think I was 21, I think. By that time, me and her were like this, bosom buddies, friends. Like, even when I moved out and, I still would hang in the neighborhood, but as soon as I get back to the neighborhood, my very first stop, you go see Nanny. Nanny, what's going on? What you need? Let me take the Nanny. Why this trash? Let me get this trash out. Nanny, let me cut the grass. Nanny, what can I do for you? Like, what's going on? Let me sit down and talk to you. And we would talk, and we became buddies. And when she passed, everybody said, and I just couldn't do it. Everybody said she was waiting on you. Everybody came, but she was waiting on you. She was waiting on her friend. Like, where's Donnie? And like, there, excuse me. And it bothers me because it's like all she had done for me. She never really asked for much. All she wanted was me to come so she could talk to me one last time. And through the grace of God, I dream about her so much, and I think that's we just talk in that spiritual realm because it's like I would not be here if I didn't go there. It was a lot. It was a lot when I think about it. Like, and I am who I am. I am strong mentally, is because that's what she created through the malice, through her power, and not never unrelenting of it. Created this because I stood tall, and the way I look at it, I stood tall and endured it. Where my brother couldn't take it, he ended up used to run away. He just couldn't do it, and I look at the difference between our lives today and where we're at. It's polar opposite, two different people. You would never think that we were raised in the same house. So, excuse me. So I just think, as men, we got to appreciate that malice sometimes because it's for your good, because it's a woman trying to raise a man without the man, the balance. So she has to be both. Some women can be balanced and do both. They can be disciplinarians, they can guide and teach and be affectionate at the same time. I think my grandmother put it in her mind, like, I'm going to be this way to these young black boys in America because, so when we go back to the statement I said earlier, she always say, nobody cares how you feel. The world don't care. So you shouldn't. Take life as it comes and keep marching forward. That's something that a man would say to a young boy. So you know what I mean? And it's like she had a lot of great sayings that she would say, the world don't owe you nothing. If you want it, you got to go get it. You don't care, rely on nobody else to get it. That's something a man would say to a man. Another thing she would say, if you're going to do something, you better do it excellent or don't do it. So as men, we need that from the woman if there is no man around. From my perspective, is it right? Probably not, because I'm damaged in a lot of areas. I really am. Like, I'm a perfectionist because of that statement. Like, well, I gotta just writing good grief. It was a chapter. I'm a writer. That's what I do. It took me 2 weeks to write 15, 1600 words. Why? If I'm gonna do it, I better be perfect or darn close to it. Why? Because that's how I was raised to be. And I'm like that with everything I do. Anything I do, I want to be as best or the best at it that I can be. So as men, from my perspective, I think we have to endure it. Is it right? Probably not. But from my perspective, I appreciate it. And I miss it. If I can get 15, 20 minutes with her, I'd take it. But as women, I think it's different because y'all are such sensitive and gentle and fragile beings at heart. So to have the woman that you look up to and love so much and revere so much be a certain kind of way, that hurts. But that's where the man has to come in. Because as women, y'all got to make a decision. Like even you with your son, you got to make a decision. Okay, what type of mother am I going to be? Whether my husband's going to be here or not, you got to make a decision. And depending on the decision that the woman makes or the caregiver makes, determines how the child is going to be conditioned to go through life. If that makes sense.
So deep.
But you know,
It makes perfect sense because yeah, even I found myself challenged with these things that you bring up. Like even with a husband at home, it's still you're still the mother. So it's like you have to decide what mother you're gonna be. Because as you
mm-hmm,
said, even when we're conditioned, if you come from a matriarchy family, it's like, well, whether this man is here or not, business. We gotta we gotta keep moving. This is the
mm-hmm,
mentality that
mm-hmm,
comes from that. But I think you bring up this great point, which all of them are great. You said that how you and your brother, how y'all became the men in your grandmother's life,
mm-hmm.
closer to, when she was older, as an older woman, like just
Yeah.
having you guys around. Because I think that for a woman,
Mm-hmm,
especially when your kids are very little,
mm-hmm.
you have to do everything for them. So
Absolutely.
when you get up to age where you can at least maybe even take out the trash, go
She
get
didn't
the
even have to
groceries.
ask. She
I
didn't
don't have
even
to
have
go
to ask.
do a I don't have to go do a grocery run. They'll go out
Absolutely.
there and cut the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do
Absolutely.
that by myself. Now I have some help. I have help now, and it
No,
becomes
no, we
this.
were children out. Hold on, wait, hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. We were children out in the yard cutting the grass, though.
Well, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, you could do it though. But you
Yeah.
could do it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have to do it. That's like a
Mm-hmm.
relief in a release in itself. Is that okay? Now I have some help. You can go over here and do this. You now can delegate some stuff. And now every task is not just on. I think that's where you might see some of the release of the resentment or the tension that might be in the woman who has to do it all, and then to just have that comfort that, hey, I might not ever get married, but hey, I got some grandkids, some my grandsons. They'll take care of me. They'll come and at least they'll come do this. They'll come do that. I think that that leads into a sense of comfort. Like as you said, a lot of those experiences they were valuable. It seems like to your grandmother too. But then the opposite side of that is that still it puts the males or the child in that
Mm-hmm.
position to have to unfairly uphold the emotions and things of a woman who has not healed. Like that puts on things of a woman who has not healed. Like that puts on so much responsibility because as children, I pick up on everything. I picked up
Yep.
on everything, every emotion my mom had, everything she tried to hide, everything
Mm-hmm.
that the women and the men tried to hide. I picked up on it. So deceived when my mother would say, "Oh, it's all good, nothing's wrong,"
Mm-hmm.
or when you try to pretend like things weren't happening. It's like, but I see you. What do you mean nothing's wrong?
Absolutely.
And that builds up some type of resentment. Now, it built up resentment in me against my mother, but I just uncovered
Mm.
that at the age of 30. That was 2 years ago I
Mm.
uncovered that. That's not
Wow.
something that I was aware of during those times where I was with her and when those times where I was maybe make up for some of those emotions that she couldn't express or she couldn't express her dissatisfaction or express
Mm-hmm.
that she wasn't feeling or maybe she was feeling down and I tried to come in and be the savior and make her feel
Mm-hmm.
okay and bring her spirits up and do these things that because you want the person you love to feel good.
Absolutely.
But that put on weight on the children, male or female, to have
Mm.
to come in and then be that kind of be your post,
Crutch.
kind of yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether that's
That
intentional
crutch.
or unintentional,
Mm-hmm.
it happens directly or directly. And so this
Absolutely.
is why I think, and you bring up that point of a woman feeling like we have to be something to our male sons that maybe he's not getting from his father or maybe he's not getting from a male figure, then we feel like we have to be that. And I've even felt that with my son, because a lot of these things we said were
Mm-hmm.
generational. It's not even that my husband's not here; is that I'm
Mm-hmm.
conditioned
To
to
be the
say
boss.
certain things to be boss, to make sure that my son is going to be good, and my son is going to be able to defend himself in the world,
Mm-hmm.
be able to make sure that it's not going to be taken advantage of. Then I have to make sure that he's right.
Absolutely.
I have to be a certain way with him.
Absolutely. Like from what you're saying, it's basically like me. I'm terrified of my mother because she used to, you know, my dad, not at all. Because it's like I don't know. My mom, again, being up under my grandmom and my aunts and all of them, she just has this thing with her where it's like, well, and my mom's only 4'11". I'm much bigger than her, but as sons, we look at y'all in fear. Like you said with your son, he was like, I scared him. I don't want my son to be scared, but innately we are. We can't. We come. Y'all gave us life. Like in a weird way, you're gonna automatically fear something that created you. You know. Again, I just women are like there's a saying that a black woman is God, and it's like because I mean, yeah, you are. Like,
Wow.
like you have a husband, but he's probably the perfect personality for you though, because he ain't budging. You being a strong woman, do you notice like the type of man that he is right for you because he's manly in his stance. Like, okay, yeah, you could think you the boss, but I'm still a man.
Listen, as
Or
I
you.
said, I have had to submit to the Lord unto this, because
Oh.
that's a deep, like I said, it's generational. It's so deep
Mm,
that
mm,
God had to reveal that to me, that you daughter, don't know how to submit to the authority of a man. And so
mm,
because I have ordained and ordered for the male to be the head of the household, and now you have entered into a marriage, then I have to teach you. I have to
mm,
teach you how to submit to your husband. But
mm.
it first came with that admittance and that acknowledgement that I want to be the boss. I like to be the boss. I like to run. I like to be in control. I like to
Mm-hmm.
have things done my way and not necessarily his way. And I'm good with that. But I also, like we talk about these, which one you want? You want to be the boss or you want to be married? Because then something's got to give. Because I'm requiring you to grow up now.
Mm-hmm.
Which one you going to choose? So I'm choosing to grow up
Absolutely.
because I want to be, I want to keep my family. But in order
Mm-hmm.
to keep my family, that means that some of these things that I learned as a result of Malice of Matriarchy, as a result of all of this emotional pain, hurt, trauma that I've endured in my life and
Mm-hmm.
generationally, that I have to be
Mm-hmm.
teachable. I have to now have a teachable heart for God to say, okay, daughter, you can't be talking to your husband like that. Daughter, you can't talk to
Mm-hmm.
your son like that, because you told me that you want them to feel safe in your home. You don't want them to be afraid of you. You want to be able to
Absolutely.
stand in your power, authority as a wife and as a mother. So this is how you do it. Not how they taught you.
Mm-hmm.
How they taught you. It might look good in the world, but that's how I created it to be.
Mm. That,
This is the
that's
learning that I'm
crazy.
having to go through.
Absolutely. But like, what's crazy is like I heard something. I don't know if I read it or heard it, or I think a lot, so it might be my own thoughts. But like, I think submitting creates submission. If each party is submitting to the other, it's just easier. Everybody's the boss. Men submit
Absolutely.
to your wife. Automatically, she's going to submit to you. It's reciprocity. It's duality.
Mm.
It has to happen that way. It can't be, oh, I want to be the boss and then I need you to live. It can't be that way. That person's gonna human nature to rebel against oppression. Can't you know what I mean? We don't want can't have tyranny in the home. And I think with the malice of matriarchy and having the command come from the top, and when that command comes from the top, what she say is law. It's a trickle
Mm.
down effect for everyone to understand that. Like, okay, so you growing up, okay, when Big Mama said this is what's up, then this is what's up. And it ain't no different from that. And if it's different from that, we're gonna have a problem. But I think if everybody
Yeah.
just submits to, so if you and your husband just submit to each other, he can feel like the boss and you can feel like the boss because you are the bosses of the family, you know? If
I
that
think that
kind
is
of
a recipe for disaster. I think
She
listen.
said, "No, I don't
Don't put
like
it
that."
on me, don't.
I don't
Don't put
like
it
that.
on me. Don't put it be the boss. Put it be
But
the
it's through
boss. Yeah.
submission. But it's just through
And I think
submission. Like,
it's
so if you ask him to do something and he does it, and then he asks you to do something and you do it, that's all.
well, I'm glad that you bring that point up because, and I'm so glad you did that because look, we kind of, I don't know, look, I think it's still within the malice of matriarchy because it's showing how
Mm,
how these things manifest in our real lives. The stuff that we're talking about
mm,
now, maybe those things that go undetected.
mm-hmm,
So when you say if wife just submits to her husband and her husband just submits to her wife, well, on the outside, it looked like that for me and my husband. If he asks me to do
mm,
something, I'll do it. If I ask him to do something, he'll do it. But
mm-hmm,
when you look at the inside, what has happened with us internally, childhood, we are both had that people pleasing from a child up. We both did.
ooh,
And so where are we doing it from? What is the motive? What is the motive in fixing my husband a cup of chai because he said, "Can you, hey babe, can you fix me a cup of chai?" Am
mm,
I doing it from the heart and the love of God, or am I doing it because, man, if he asked me to do one more thing, or am I doing it because this is what a good wife does for her husband?
mm.
And when I
That's
ask
wild.
him to do something, hey babe, can you please change that pamper? I'm tired.
Mm,
Well, is he doing that from the love of God? Like, okay, my wife is tired. Let me just go change this pamper. Or is he doing it because, man, this woman don't do nothing I ask her to do. She can't even change a
mm,
dirty pamper. What is the
mm.
motive? And so that's why I
Absolutely.
said it can look like that's what it can look
Mm.
like on the outside. That's why we see so
I
much.
get you.
We don't understand. Oh man, they were so perfect together. 25 years, he did it. He opened her car doors.
Mm-hmm,
She always fixed his coffee was always ready, had breakfast at this time of day. But now
mm.
25 years later, 30 years later,
The floor cracks in
what
a sense.
happened?
Now,
But what were the
I
heart
get you.
motives, you know?
Exactly. People pleasing is big. I get that because it's like, are you submitted because you know it's just going to make the person happy and you don't want them to get mad? I get that, but
Right.
it's like I understand that as well. You know, that's just the
Now
funny
I
thing
submit
with
to,
life.
yeah, I'm like this difference now is now I submit to my husband because God is showing me that, hey, this is the way. And when I believe him and I do what he says, I see that, hey, this is the better way.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And from a different place, the motive is different, which makes a
Absolutely.
difference in how you are in relationship with your spouse.
Mm.
So it's like God is having to rewire me from all of that conditioning from the malice of matriarchy. What are all those things that were passed on from hurt, from anger, from aggression,
Mm.
from
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that I experienced in my life personally and generationally, allowing
Mm-hmm.
him to give me a new way, a better way.
Mm.
So yeah.
Submitting.
better way. So yeah,
Submitting to God is the start to breaking that,
absolutely.
I guess, because He is all power. He is.
Yeah,
If you don't
absolutely.
submit to Him, if you don't submit to Him when He's asking you to, He'll make you.
Because when I was just doing stuff in my own strength and my own, you know, how I thought I should be serving my husband, yeah, I fell
Mm,
short. Even though and I'm not, I don't mean that in a sense of perfection. It's
I
different.
definitely understand. I mean, as men, I mean, we gotta like again. It's like, oh, we gotta be macho and have machismo, and oh, nah, man. Women are gentle, fragile, a species like that. So it's like you have to, like the way I'm looking at it now, that I have daughters and you have to deal with care. Everything has to be with a certain care.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, so it's like opening the door or taking the trash out or cleaning the bathroom or going to the store to get woman products. And that's not being a punk or being soft or whipped or none of that. It's just if you say you love someone, the word, like I have a saying, to me, the word love equals death. Meaning if I tell you I love you, that means there's nothing that I'm not gonna do for you. So you can't in one breath say you love someone and then in the next breath say you don't want to do something that they ask you to do. That's the way I look at it from my perspective, because like from what I see in love is action all the time. Like I grew up, I watched my grandma, and that's my love language. Number one, acts of service. You, you ask me to do
Yeah,
something,
the
I'm
acts
gonna
of service.
do it. That's the way I'm gonna show love, and I kind of want those acts of service in return. I don't really need you to say I love you like that. Like I want my affirmation in different areas, not through saying. So I think as men, we just gotta understand who women are, what they've dealt with in their own personal experience, then who they were raised by and what they dealt with in their personal experience, and so on and so on. Everything like, and it's like the perfect name for the black woman plight is the malice of matriarchy. Like, how do you balance being a woman but also understanding your power and not abusing it and making the people under you feel less than or demeaned because you have that power?
Absolutely. And I think it is, it really is truly my husband who helped me to see my value as a mother in the home.
Mm,
So I started to recognize my value as a mother in the home before I started to recognize my value as a wife in the home,
mm,
which is crazy because I've been married for almost, we've been married 8 years and I've been a mother for 5 years. So, but it's
mm,
the way that he was brought up and his conditioning and just his culture, that reverence that they have for mothers.
mm,
And I didn't know my value in the home. All the women, the majority of the women I know, it worked. You worked.
mm.
They weren't at home with us. I mean, I was a latchkey kid.
Me too.
Mom was at work,
Key around the
or
neck.
she went at went at home.
Mm,
A lot of times when I got there, I got home from after practice or different things. So it's just I didn't know my value at home as a mother. Even now,
mm,
that's what where I'm growing and building. I still have children, so I'm able to do it. Now while they're young, but to understand that, hey, well, I can cook your food. I can do all the acts of service. Food, your clothes are clean. Make sure that all the tasks, everything is done. But after I do that, now what we do? I don't know what to do with you. I love you, but I
mm.
don't really know.
Thank you for watching this episode of A Store Heart TD.
Life is a journey, and there are many moments. Some moments are smooth. You flow through them effortlessly. There are other moments when life's challenges interrupt your momentum, yet you find the strength to get back on track, to keep moving. So even if you have to crawl to make it there, do it. Because victory belongs to you. You are equipped to handle every part of the journey. You were created to overcome this. Don't give up. I love you.